This is a demonstration of how to make a tetrahedronal poem. I know you're excited, so am I. Here we go. Alright, now first I have listed 4 concepts. Usually what ends up happening is I'll have 4 ideas, or I'll have a couple of ideas over the course of like a couple of days, and they're seemingly unrelated, but a deep faith in me believes that they are somehow related in a way that only I can explain to others, but I have a difficulty explaining it to others until I make a tetrahedral poem. So, and sometimes I have a difficulty explaining it then too. It's not just about associating these ideas, it's that through association, you get a deeper understanding of each individual idea and how it applies to other things. And also, if you focus on using 4 ideas that you yourself find interesting, for me personally, for me anyway, it seems like if I focus on ideas which I already find interesting, then I experience a intoxicating enthusiasm by the end. So, because I'm going deeper into that. Alright, so this is our first one. Dinosaurs are friendly magical beasts. I didn't just say dinosaurs because I didn't want us to be thinking of like the reality of dinosaurs, which was probably, pretty brutal. That's not what interests me. What interests me is the idea of these giant elephant-like beasts that are sedate and you can ride them and shit. That's what I'm interested in. The idea of like riding dinosaurs. That's pretty much it. Maybe that is what I should have put. Okay, and I've created a little symbol, this circle here, and that helps for later on when things get kind of complex. You don't have to write out dinosaurs as friendly magical beasts every time. You can just have a circle which references the concept itself. So then here we got the influence of kitten pictures on the internet. I've been thinking about this lately. There's a lot of kitten pictures on the internet and everyone makes jokes about it, but to me I'm starting to think that, people talk about how the internet only exists because of porn. I kind of think that the internet only exists because of kitten pictures. I think they are a form of... I think that they're very similar to porn. I think there's something going on there. I think that kitten pictures have to be distributed by the people with cats. It's this... I think it's like... just... if they didn't do it, they would go crazy. They have to show someone the pictures of the cats. And the internet is the best way yet to show that. Okay, so then we got, and I put a triangle here. So that'll, allow us to, reference this with the triangle later on. Okay, here we have hats that give you the abilities of the profession who wears them. If only this was the case, wouldn't that be cool? To be able to put on a fireman hat and then you could rescue people in fires. Of course, the reality of our society is that no one can actually do their job, but we're not getting into that. We're talking about like the symbolic profession. Basically take the best person who the best of what that profession has to offer. If you put on the hat of the profession, you get their abilities. Okay. Then we got, for instance, like not taking work home with them. Okay. So then we've done a square for this one, or a rectangle. It's turning more into a rectangle. Okay, and then the 4th idea we have is interesting characters as the most engaging elements within a story. This is something I've been working on for about a month. I think of myself as a writer of narratives, and it's only recently that I was ready for the information that it's the characters which make the piece of work valuable. You can have the most interesting premise in the world, but no one gives a shit unless you have a character that is interesting. Okay, so that's pretty, I think I explained that pretty well, because I've been thinking about that one the most. Alright, so we got the, and that's, put a star here. I would have done a pentagon, but the pentagon kind of looks like the triangle or the square, so a star is better. You can use your own symbols. You can have, you can cut out a yearbook and put like faces for each one of them, whatever you want. But you need to be able to write it down again later. Okay. So, now we start making connections. This is going to be connection number 1. Okay. And we're connecting. Dinosaurs are friendly magical beasts and the influence of hidden pictures on the internet. Alright, so usually what I do is, let's see, can I pause this? No, it doesn't look like I can. Usually what I do is, I'll scroll down. Or no, I'll start a new little thing. New, yes, that's great. Yes, 100. 100! Okay, so usually what I'll do is I'll make a note, or I'll have a separate area below it where I do that number, and then we're gonna look and see what is it that we're working on here. And we are working on dinosaurs as friendly magical beasts and the influence of hidden pictures on the internet. Usually it's on the same page, so it's kind of easier, but it's not the case here. For a reminder, I'm going to put dino and kittens. And it would probably be better if I type. I'm usually doing this on real paper. Okay, so what do I think of when I mix those two ideas? How are they associated? How would I like to associate them? What do they have in common? How do they contrast? Usually I am not thorough. I just kind of think of one thing and then focus on it. So, wouldn't that be interesting if people in a dinosaur land and post them on the internet. They also forward picturesque moments of cute dinosaur happenstance. You know, like when the dinosaur gets caught up in the palm trees and looks at you like, "Help me," you know. Okay, so, I didn't really go really deep into it. I just thought about it for a second, and this is how I associate the two. And there's infinite ways to associate the two. For me, it's just about, thinking about it until you think of an association which you think is interesting to you, so you write it down. Okay. So then we got, let's see, which one are we going to do? Let's do these two. We're going to do interesting characters as the most engaging element in a story, and hats that give you the abilities of a profession. Hats that give you the abilities of the profession who wears them. To me, this one's kind of obvious. See, this is what is going to be really difficult for me in describing tetrahedronal poetry, because tetrahedronal poetry is a format, and the way that you apply the format is very personal, and I don't know how to tell you why I'm thinking these things, but I think that if you try the format, you'll find associations which are really engaging for yourself. So, when I think of interesting characters as the most engaging element within a story, in comparison to hats that give you the abilities of the professions who wear them. To me, what the most obvious association is hats that give you the personality of a character in a story. So, and there's infinite ways to actually associate them. That's not the way I just did it, but that's how I just did it. So, what just happened? I did not want to do full screen. Alright. So we're going to do number 2 here. If I can figure out how. Sorry everybody. Alright. Hats and characters. And again, typing will probably be a better idea. Hats that give you the perspective, because I believe that personality is based on perspective in context. Hats that give you the perspective of engaging fictional characters. Well, I want to be more specific than that. Hats that resemble the hats worn by fictional characters, giving you the perspective of that character when worn. I think that's pretty clear. Alright. So then we're going to actually need a new page for the next one. But in a book this is a lot easier. It's just that I think filming on the computer is better. I might be wrong. Alright. So we need to go back to our actual tetrahedron. Where is it? Here it is. Alright. So now we're going to do number 3. And that's going to be hats that give you the abilities of the professional who wear them, and dinosaurs as friendly magical beasts. To me, the association is hats which you put on the dinosaur to get it to do different things. So, for different purposes. So we're going to go back to page number 3 is dino hats. Alright, hats which you put on dinosaurs to get them to behave appropriately for particular roles or jobs. So for instance, if you want a dino to act as, I don't know, maybe a crane or a backhoe, like in the Flintstones, then you would put a construction hat on it. Yeah. So don't we all wish we had those? So then, that one was particularly easy. What else we got here? We got to do, and at this point, like, now when I say that I'm not thorough, I'm talking about the ideas. I am thorough with making sure to do an association for each one, because you might look at the influence of kitten pictures on the internet and interesting characters as the most engaging element in the story, and be like, I'm not really interested in associating those. Do it anyway, because whatever you end up with is you are not a good judge of whether or not it's going to be interesting once you associate them, because you don't know what the association is going to be. All right. The influence of kitten pictures on the internet. Interesting characters. Now notice this is not kitten pictures on the internet. This is the influence of kitten pictures on the internet. I hope I did that well with number 1. Okay, and then so we got the influence of kitten. I want to underline it. The influence of kitten pictures on the internet and interesting characters as the most engaging element within a story. All right, this is easy. Okay, when I look at those two, I think that the influence of kitten pictures on the internet is very similar to the way that characters make a story engaging. So for me, kitten pictures are like the reason that people are going online in the first place to discover other things besides kitten pictures, and characters are the reason that someone stays in a story to experience things that are not necessarily the characters themselves. So I have no difficulty associating those two. If I can find the... Oh no, did it disappear? Uh-oh. Oh, well, isn't Windows 7 great? Okay, alright, so we need number 4 now. Number 4, which is, kittens. Of course, we already said that it's the influence, but kittens is more descriptive when referencing that part. Kittens and characters. We're going to try typing. Kittens, what is it? Tempt people to stay on the internet and witness things that are not necessarily kittens. Characters fulfill the same purpose in a story. Characters keep people engaged so that they can participate in the world in which the character inhabits. Alright, I think that's pretty clear. Now, we're not done. I know you might wish we were. Okay, so we still have to associate the ones that are across from each other. It can be kind of tedious, but I mean, as long as you're having fun, fuck it, right? Okay, so 5, and I am having fun, by the way, y'all. Okay, 5 is going to be dinosaurs as magical friendly beasts. And this is, by the way, this is why we only use 4 things. If you use more than 4 things, it gets out of hand. Okay, dinosaurs as friendly magical beasts and interesting characters as the most engaging element within a story. Okay, this one's a little more difficult for me than most. Dinosaurs as friendly magical beasts. Okay. Interesting characters as the most engaging element within a story. Alright. This is good because it allows me to address something that I was concerned about when I was doing a previous association. We got this. We got this. Okay. I need a new window, though. Number 5. Dino characters. Okay. dinosaurs as magical beasts, friendly magical beasts, and characters being the most engaging portion of a story. Alright, so what I wanted to talk about here is that I believe that dinosaurs, if they were to exist, and not just be a trick by Satan, dinosaurs, if they were to really exist, would be entities with perspectives and personalities. A world of these dinos. Oh wait, no, not a world, but a story with dinosaurs in the world should include dinosaurs as engaging characters and not just furniture. Of course, that could be a twist at some point in the story. Like, oh my god, the dinosaur has a personality, and I've been using it for a backhoe all this time. Okay, so that's good. We did that. And now and that was a difficult one. So always do the difficult ones. Okay. Now we're going to associate number 6. I know what y'all are thinking. Y'all are thinking, we're almost done. We're not almost done. Okay, I'm just trying to get to a point where I can show you how far this goes. Okay, the influence of hidden pictures on the internet. Hats that give you the abilities of the profession who wear them. Okay, so my thought is oh wait, no, I can't do hidden pictures. I can only do the influence of hidden pictures. But this is focusing on hats. Hats that give you the profession, the influence of hidden pictures on the internet. Okay, I got this. Okay, so it seems like hidden pictures on the internet are often accompanied by emotions. So it's like a cat being smothered by other cats in a bundle of cuteness and raising his little hand up for help and going, help me! Or I believe it was, you're not just going to stand there. Or there's a cat who is like, you know, got a burn in its mouth or something, and it's like, don't tell me you don't want this either. You know, these are very specific emotions which people face, which we're then personifying the cat with. And so it's not just a hidden picture, it's our ability to see extreme examples of our own emotions in the poses of the cats in the pictures on the internet. That's a major part of hidden pictures on the internet. Hats that give you special abilities are very similar, only they would be, if we combine the two concepts, it would be more like hats which give you the emotion which hats which give you, which switch your emotions, no, hats which allow you to experience the different emotions the way that hidden pictures on the internet allow you to experience different emotions. So that's actually going to be really hard to describe to anyone who is not just there right now. Okay, but we're going to try to be as clear as possible, because poetry is all about communication. I want to express that. Poetry is all about communication. It has nothing to do with nice, beautiful words and stuff. It's all about communicating in the most clear way possible. In this case, it's not clear yet because we're coming up with the ideas for the first time, and we're focusing on that, but hopefully I will eventually take these ideas and make them far more clear, and then I will experience a communion with others. So, we got kittens and hats. Now, if we were just doing kittens and hats, that would be way easier, but we're doing the influence of kittens on the pictures on the internet. Okay. Because you know you want to see a little cat in a fireman hat. I think I actually had a poster of that I got from a freaking school bookstore sale, book fair. Okay. Getting pictures on the internet are it's not that it's extreme, it's that they're modules, they're modular. Are modular getting pictures on the internet are modular demonstrations of human circumstances. At this point we need an example, such as struggle, unrequited performance. That's the... Would that be it? When a cat brings you a dead something and you're like, ugh, but the cat's like, I got this for you. Gift giving. The realities of gift giving. Getting pictures on the internet are modular demonstrations of human circumstances such as struggle, the realities of gift giving. Okay, yeah. Let's imagine hats which allow the wearer to experience these emotional contexts based on the hat. It makes sense to me. I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense to you. I don't know how to say that clearly right now. I'm trying to focus on the format. Okay, so we got that. So now you're probably thinking, wow, we've written down a summary for each one of these associations. That's so great, we're done. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. And I'm not going to do all of it because it would take way too long, but I just want to explain that this is part of tetrahedral poetry. So then what you do is you take 4 and you attach it to 6. Now, the easiest way to do this would be to call this 7, but that's what you do. And then, like, we'll say we're going to do 5 and 2. We'll call it 8. Now, I'm not going to do all these, but I'm going to do 1 for you. Okay, so which do you want to do? 6 and 7, or you want to do 7 or you want to do 8? I want to do 8 because 8 looks a little more squishy. Let's see, it's 5 and 2. So now we got to find 5 and 2. 5 and 2, 5 and 2, 5 and 2. 5 is dinosaurs, if they were to really exist, would be entities with perspectives and personalities. A story with dinosaurs in which the world should include dinosaurs as engaging characters and not just as furniture. Got it. I might need to write that down on the new page so I don't forget when I read the next one. These are pretty complex ideas. Okay. We're doing 8, I believe. Dinos as characters. Oh shit, what did I just do? I don't know what that is. No. Characters. And now we gotta find 2. 2 is hats and characters. Hats that resemble the hats worn by fictional characters, giving you the perspective of that character when worn. Oh, so we got a lot of character going on here. Hats that resemble the hats worn by fictional characters, giving you the perspective of that character when worn. Alright, well, it seems that these associate pretty obviously to me anyway. Hats worn by characters. So, Dino says characters, hats worn by characters. So it seems obvious that what we are talking about here is hats worn by dinosaur characters which hold on, I need to look at number 2 again. Hats that resemble the hats worn by fictional characters, giving the perspective of the character with the worn. Okay, so what's important is that you're getting the perspective of the character when you're wearing the hat. I should underline that. See, it gets hard, but it's super rewarding for me. Hats worn by characters giving you characters perspective. So what we need to talk about here is, where did my little thing go? Shit. I got no idea. I'll have to make a new one. Alright, hats worn by dinosaur characters which give you the perspective of the dino characters. So for instance, a hat which they probably use to make a dino do something in the story is also offered at Target that you can put on, and then when you put it on you experience the indentured servitude, frustration, but yet codependence and Stockholm Syndrome-esque love of the people who are forcing you to do non-dino things in dinosaur ways. So that's the idea. And then if you okay, and then if you you know, you look at this and you can kind of see how you end up with a ton of fucking ideas that associate all of these 4 ideas, and it's enough to write a story or just think about something else or think about things in a different way than you've thought about them before. This doesn't only have to work with examples such as dino hats and kittens. It can also work on things like I'm wanting to do one about genetic algorithms and welfare recipients. I'm really excited about doing that tetrahedronal poem, but I was afraid that I'd get I wouldn't be able to record a video and do it at the same time, so I've tried to stay with simple things, but this is what happened. Or you could do it with, you know, things that are actually existent in your life. It's just a method to think more deeply about things which you're able to detail into defined concepts. That's tetrahedronal poetry. Thank you very much.